Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Long, and I am the proud president and CEO of Create Campaign Incorporated. It is our distinct pleasure to be able to offer another training as it relates to preparing for the Paycheck Protection Program. We're really excited to jump into this conversation because we continue to receive a ton of questions about how people can appropriately prepare for this relief fund. And so we've brought in another partner. We're going to have another great training. Let's go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint that's going to anchor our conversation today. So again, today we're going to be talking about the Paycheck Protection Program and understanding the process from a lender's perspective. Again, presented by Create Campaign with our wonderful partners and friends with Fidelity Bank. Create Campaign is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that focuses on minority business development. We provide workshops, trainings, we have microloan funds, we have an awesome mentor network. We're working in supplier diversity to help make sure that minority companies and firms are able to compete competitively in the contracting space and just so much more. You can learn more about the work that we do with Create Campaign by visiting www.createcampaignks.com. And I did mention our wonderful friends and partners at Fidelity Bank. Here's just a little bit about them.
Our next move matters. It will set the tone for what tomorrow, next month, next year looks like. Let's step with purpose into this undeniably different world. Let's lean into the challenges and find out what's possible on the other side. We'll cheer each other on and thank those who during the shutdown never slowed down. We'll listen, learn, and believe in the promise that progress holds. There will be small wins, mistakes, hard decisions, and moments of real hope. No matter what lies ahead, we'll face it with courage. Because there's only one direction worth moving.
Absolutely. So Fidelity Bank is all about moving bravely onward. And we just absolutely love that commercial because I don't know if you saw, but there was some cameos from some Create campaigners in that commercial. So just a bit of a disclaimer before I have the privilege of introducing our featured speaker today. This information that you're receiving in this presentation, it does not constitute legal or financial advice, and it does not create any client relationship between you or Fidelity Bank or even the Create campaign. It is presented for informational purposes only and as a service of our organization. So I just want to cover those disclaimers for you. And now I have the privilege of introducing our featured speaker, who is Kristin Buckle. She is the portfolio manager for Fidelity Bank in the commercial business lending department and has served on the internal PPP task force since the program's inception in March of 2020. She's a lifelong Wichitan. She's graduated from Wichita State University with a Bachelor of Business Administration and Finance with a minor in economics. She has worked for Fidelity Bank since 2016. Buckles volunteers in the community through United Way, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Junior Achievement, and in her kids' school. She was part of the Leadership Wichita class of 2019 as well. Kristin and husband Chris have 3 young boys. When she's not driving the boys to games and practices, she enjoys running, reading, golf, and all things food. Welcome, Kristin.
Hello, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this call.
Absolutely. Well, Kristin, it is really great to be able to have you here joining us. As I mentioned, one of the things about getting bankers together with entrepreneurs, sometimes it seems like bankers are mysterious or that you guys are a little reserved. I have really enjoyed my time getting to know you. And I'd like to just, before we begin, let people know just a little bit about how you found yourself in the finance and banking space.
Well, first off, I don't think anyone's ever called me reserved. I can help assuage that notion there that bankers are totally buttoned up. But so I joined Fidelity Bank in 2016, and I wasn't seeking out a bank job. I had a finance degree. I had been staying home with my kids and really wanted to get back into the workforce. I found this position with Fidelity as a credit analyst originally, and my very first interview, I knew I'd found home. The community involvement, the culture at the bank, and then the work is just fun. You get to do math all day and you get to talk to really great people and help people throughout the community. It's an awesome place. It was just where I knew I was home.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about it being fun. You talk about being able to help people. And when we're thinking about all of the impact that COVID-19 has had on business owners, being able to be in a position to help, to offer clear advice, I think that that is a very powerful and very necessary position to be in. So again, I just thank you for the time that you're going to devote to give us some more clarity on what's going on with the PPP program from a banker's perspective. So with that, I'm going to dive right in with our first question, and that is, this round of the Paycheck Protection Program, again, which we're referring to as PPP, provides additional relief to business owners who have suffered economic injury as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. But Kristin, tell me this, can any business owner take advantage of this round of the PPP application process?
Yeah, I think it's really important to note here that this round reopened up first draw loans also. So if you did not get a first draw loan back in March of, or April of 2020, you can come in and get one now. Also, there are second draw loans available. So if you did receive a first draw loan the first time around, you can get a second draw loan. To be eligible for that, you have to show a 25% decrease in revenue from 2019 to 2020 for just one quarter. So you have to show like maybe quarter two when most businesses were shut down. That's where we've seen a lot of customers have their biggest drop in revenue. And it's important to note revenue is your top line number. So not your net profit after all your expenses. It has to be that top line receipts.
Okay, so again, the revenue that you're bringing in without having to deduct all of your expenses, that's where you have to be able to show at least that 25% decrease.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. So talk about this, just like the first round though, business owners have to apply for the PPP program through a bank. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is right. And you can find banks that are participating. If you go to SBA.gov, on their very front page, it shows COVID relief for small businesses. If you click on that and scroll down just a little bit, there's something that says, find a lender in your area. And you can click on that, put in your zip code. And the majority of those banks that come up are community lenders. It's the bank right down the street, whether that's Fidelity or any of the other great community banks in Wichita, you're going to find one there.
Okay, so even if you do go on that listing and you find a bank, and let's say it's Fidelity, just for the case of this presentation, but you don't have an account at that bank, can that bank still serve you through this PPP application process?
So at Fidelity, we are requiring you to have your business account at Fidelity. It makes the process a lot easier with wiring money, the forgiveness end of things. For us, that's how it is. I'm not sure that all banks are requiring that though.
Okay, so to our viewers, that is a question that you'll want to ask if you are using that SBA tool, able to find a lender in your area. Just ask them if you have to be an account holder, and then also specify if you have to be a business account holder at that particular institution. Great tip.
So, yeah, and at Fidelity, we have all the steps for you to go ahead, listed on our website, of how you can set up your business account at Fidelity and then go ahead and apply for a PPP loan.
Okay, that's great. So you talked about beginning to apply for that PPP loan, that process. What is actually needed to start that process?
So the biggest thing that you will need is your payroll information, because that's how your loan amount is calculated. It's your average payroll for either 2019 or 2020, whichever is higher. So it's your average monthly payroll times either 2.5 or 3.5. So your most important information is going to be that payroll information. Also, if you're applying for a second draw loan, knowing some kind of documentation, an income statement that shows your 25% reduction year over year.
Okay, so let me ask a follow-on question to that. If I am a contractor and I do not have any employees, maybe I take down a drawdown in my company or maybe I don't. Is this something that I could qualify for?
Yes, so maybe if you're a 1099, that if that's how you receive your tax, like how you file your taxes, is you get a 1099 as an independent contractor, you would take the income that you received as a 1099 and divide that by 12, and that's your average monthly payroll.
Okay.
So that's how you would calculate that. If you're an owner of a company, then it gets a little funny. There are a couple different ways. If you file your taxes on a Schedule C, then it's line 31, that's your net income for the year, and you divide that by 12, and that's your average monthly payroll. For partnerships, there's a K1, and there's a line on that schedule. So there's so many different things. What bankers are doing is we're Googling. We read Forbes articles, we watch YouTube videos, and that helps us be able to better digest these they call them IFRs, an interim final ruling, which is, I think, the best representation of how this program is. It's both interim and final. So and there are a lot of pages, and it's a lot of really financial jargon that's hard to decipher for regular, like us normal people even. It's difficult for us as bankers to decipher it. So we have to find resources. But we've had a lot of good luck with, different resources on the internet, searching for those.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, because some of the problem, it seems like, or the disconnect, is that there is so much information out there and people don't even know the right questions to ask. So it sounds like among the entrepreneurship support community organizations that traditionally and typically help entrepreneurs, it may be a good idea for entrepreneurs to really seek out banking advice as well.
Yeah, it's we've had to help quite a bit with determining, showing people, hey, this is the form you need to use to be able to apply.
Okay, very good. So we talked a little bit about the documents that are needed to begin the application process. You talked about having an income statement or financial statements of some sort to be able to show that payroll expenditure for the time period you're trying to justify and show that economic decline or impact. Can you talk about how tedious this application process is? It seems like sometimes with some commercial loans, that banking application, that loan application itself is so cumbersome for some entrepreneurs. How tedious is this PPP application?
Originally, when it first came out, it was very difficult. It was a lot of work to complete. And then there was a lot of stuff on the back end on bank side. So it took a long time to get these from the customer's hands over to the SBA. So many banks now, like Fidelity, have automated the process. And we have these software providers that have come in, and really it's like doing TurboTax now for a loan application. They help you automatically calculate your loan amounts. They ask really simplified questions from the application, and it's, most borrowers can complete their application in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, that is efficient.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So again, it seems like the process has some more automations that have made it a little bit less complicated than perhaps some other loan applications. So let's talk about how these loan funds can be used. Let's say you decide to go ahead and approach a bank or get with the bank that you have a relationship with and go through the process. What can the loan funds actually be used for?
So since it's your average monthly payroll times 2.5, that's 2.5 months of payroll, but yet you have 24 weeks, which is just shy of 6 months to use that. We are really encouraging people to try to use as much of it on payroll as possible, because that presents the easiest forgiveness path. But if you can't get there with just payroll, you are allowed to use it for benefits and just company paid benefits, not the employee portion. You're allowed to use it for utilities, your rent payment if you have a building that you rent, or your interest if you own your building, the interest amount on your loan for your building.
So you keep using this term forgiveness. Can you explain what forgiveness means?
So at the end of your covered period, which is 24 weeks from the day the SBA approves your loan, you have 24 weeks to use up your funds. At the end of that time, you can apply for forgiveness from the SBA. And what you have to do is complete another application. But this latest law helped ease the application process for forgiveness. You apply to the SBA, show them and attest that you spent the funds on what you were supposed to spend the funds on. And then the SBA can come back and pay off your loan balance. Interest included.
Interest included.
Mm-hmm.
What is the interest rate for these loans, by the way?
These loans are all 1% for 5 years.
So if you're unable to apply for forgiveness, or if your expenditures don't qualify for forgiveness, then you would be facing an interest rate on your loan payback of just 1%.
Yes. Now, and another important thing to remember is that payments on the loan are deferred for 10 months after the end of your covered period.
What does that mean, Kristin?
So that means that you don't make a single payment on the loan until, so the date, say your PPP loan is approved on February 15th, you have 24 weeks to use that money. And then at the end of your covered period, when that 24 weeks is over, you don't make a single payment for 10 months after that. You have time to apply for forgiveness.
How would you recommend entrepreneurs keep up with what's going on?
As bankers, we have the ability to listen in to calls directly with the SBA, which helps a lot. So we get information from them. Also, our software partner that we have worked with to automate our process has a really good in with the SBA. So they have been able to share a ton of information that as a bank, we haven't been able to get. So I think this is one of those parts where it's really important for entrepreneurs to have that banking relationship so they have someone they can trust that can help them guide this process, because the only thing that has stayed the same about PPP since it started is that it's going to change. Changes, and it's, you know, sometimes changes every other day, sometimes it changes every other week, but it has changed considerably from the beginning.
Well, with all of those changes, you know, I've heard from people who don't even want to bother with the process. They're like, it's too complicated. I can't keep up. It's not worth it. For those people who maybe could benefit from this program, but who have that fear that they just don't want to deal with it because of the information lapses, what recommendation would you have for them?
I would say that bankers, especially in our area, we want to help you. So we are going to make sure that you have the best information possible, that we are going to give you all the information you need to make a good decision. This is really important money for you to get. And if you qualify and you think you can spend the money in the appropriate eligible expenses, then you really should try it. It's a little scary being involved in a government program. I know it's scary getting a bank loan in general, but then you add that government aspect to it, and just makes it just even that much more serious, kind of. But we're here to help, and we're here to advocate for you to the SBA. You know, we are working diligently for originations forgiveness to make sure that our neighbors are getting the help they need to continue through this pandemic.
I liked how you said that about our neighbors getting the help that you need, because again, sometimes it seems very bureaucratic to begin these relationships, but we've talked about several ways that banks and banking relationships can help entrepreneurs through this time. Whether entrepreneurs apply for PPP or not, can you talk about the significance of having a banking relationship as a business owner, as an entrepreneur?
Right. You know, it's just one more tool in your tool belt. We're here to help. We're here to offer, you know, wisdom. It's entrepreneurs are really good at what they do. Find someone who can help you with this finance part. You know, I can't, there are many things I can't do. So that's why I need these entrepreneurs to come in and help me do those items. I'm good with numbers. So let me help you with that aspect. We can't all be perfect with everything, and it's important to have a tool belt full of great resources.
Absolutely. All righty. Is there anything else that you would like to add that maybe I didn't ask that you think would be helppful to our viewers today?
Just reach out to a bank. We're here to help you. Like I said, we're real people, and we're your neighbors. We're down the street. And we're here to help. We don't mind answering questions. Most of us have lived and breathed this for the last 10 months. So really, it's all we talk about anyway. So don't feel bad reaching out and just asking a question. Everyone's here to help.
This was really fantastic information, Kristin. I'm going to put our closing slide up. And that's just, again, for more information about how particularly Fidelity can assist folks with the PPP process, definitely log into fidelitybank.com. And with that being said, Again, I just want to thank you on behalf of Create Campaign for sharing this information with us. And I do hope that people who are viewing will really take the time to ask the questions and see if this program is definitely a fit for you. But if not, there are some other banking products that you can also ask your lender or Fidelity about that can help you as in your experience as an entrepreneur and business owner. With that being said, thank you so very much for joining us. Take care.
Thank you, Christina.
You're welcome.